And welcome back to the Cafe, 990wbob.com. Pal in studio, and I have a very special young lady on the line right now. She's kind of a funny gal, and she's in the new movie, The Boom Boom Girls of Wrestling. It's Sarah Levin. Sarah, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Tell our listeners out there, all across the world, and especially in the Rhode Island, New England area, who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Sarah Levin. I'm an actress. I do a lot of comedy, and I was recently in a film called The Boom Boom Girls of Wrestling, which hopefully is coming to a theater near you. It's making the festival rounds right now.
Can you talk about your experience making that movie, the background of the movie a little bit too, if you could?
Sure. Well, The Boom Boom Girls, it was written and directed by Carolyn Von Petzold, and she wanted to make a slasher film, and she's an incredibly creative, talented individual. So of course I wanted to be on board. The Boom Boom Girls does have to do with wrestling. I don't have to wrestle in it though. I'm not one of the Boom Boom Girls. I'm the assistant to Richard, and he's the head of Boom Boom Girls of Wrestling. It was just such a fun movie to make. I mean, there's a lot of comedy in it. It's a slasher film. I don't want to give away the surprise at the end, but there's kind of a twist to it that I feel that audiences, especially people who love horror and slasher films, will really enjoy.
I'm gonna tweet out some of the stuff that's on IMDb, the trailer for it and stuff. It's pretty cool, so our listeners and readers can see some of that. You have quite a big, I don't want to say big, but a vast history. I'm looking at your resume as I'm talking to you. You a lot of theater work, a lot of film and TV, a lot of comedy. I'm starting to see, though, reading between the lines, your heart is in comedy.
Well, it's one of those things. I love comedy, of course. I did my background was originally in theater, and I went to. I'm from Chicago, and I did the Second City Conservatory and performed a few times on the Second City stage, and yeah, it's just that's where I tend to end up, and there's so much potential there.
Can you talk about the Second City stage? Because that I was going to get to that. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a big deal.
Second City is just an amazing group of people. I went to their conservatory there, and I got to perform a few times with that group. And also, I performed for an Oscar show that they had. I made up a couple of parody songs based on movies, and it's just a lot of fun. I mean, look at the history of Second City. You've got people who went on to SNL. You've got some of the best comedians in the world all coming together. And, of course, in Chicago, big theater town, big comedy town. So, yeah, that was a joy as well.
Now, in my vast research, I came across a little reel that you did called Worst Dates.
Yes. Yes, the world's worst date. I was with an improv troupe called The Normals, and we filmed so all of that is pretty much improv. We brought in a bunch of costumes, and we spent a day all filming the world's worst dates, and that got us quite a bit of attention. I'm sure most of it you can't play on the radio there, so there's a lot of swearing going on. But I am dressed as a lion in one of the scenes. I'm very proud of that.
You, how much of that came from experience, I'm wondering?
Of being the worst date?
Yeah.
Hopefully nobody has any complaints that big, but it's quite possible that they did. I haven't gone on a date dressed up as a lion, though, so I'll try that in the future, though.
How about as a cat? Because that was another thing I found on your reel. You seem to give your impersonation of what goes on in a cat's mind.
You're talking about Kitty Hutch. Yes, that was a comedy shirt I did. It just seems that I'm always dressing up as cats. I can't stop myself. And not really like sexy cats either. When you think of a woman dressing up as a cat, you think sexy, but not sexy at all. Kitty Hutch was really fun. I worked with this great filmmaker named Eric Larson. He has Lyric Films. And I had this idea about, how a cat is trying to escape from his apartment and really take over the world, as we know all cats want to do. So we came up with this comedy short that actually did not too badly in the festival circuit, probably mostly because of how I'm dressed. But that was a really fun day, for sure.
What's next for Sarah Levin?
Well, I've got another comedy short coming out called A Good Catch. That should be making the festival rounds very soon. That one, I am not just as Cat. However, my co-star is a giant rainbow trout puppet. And it was made by an actual puppet maker who works for Jim Henson Company. And we have a famous puppeteer. Her name is Peggy Etra, and she's with the traveling troupe Puppet Up, which is also from Jim Henson. So it was an amazing time. Hopefully everybody's going to find it hysterical. We certainly had a lot of fun filming it. It is, so if you like big fish puppets, this is the short for you. So that's coming out soon. But
Who doesn't?
I've got a lot of other projects that are coming, but I can't really tell you when they're coming out. I'm going to be in a little series of vampire sketches coming out as well, but I'm not sure when that's coming out. So keep your eyes peeled. You can always find updates at sarah2thelevin.com. So hopefully most of my videos will at least be linked to there.
Awesome. Sarah, I appreciate the time. Sarah Levin from the Boom Boom Girls of Wrestling. Love the name.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on.
No problem. Keep in touch.
You too. Thank you.
That was Sarah Levin. This is The Cafe on 990wbob.com. Stay tuned. We've got so much more in store.